And we are live. If you don't know, my name is Justin from Party Rental Knowledge, and this is my buddy here, Ray, the video guy.
Hello.
So if you don't know, I help teach tips and tricks in the party rental industry, and Ray teaches a lot about video, and he actually has an escape room too, so he's not just some guy that doesn't know anything really about the business. So Ray, how about you introduce yourself?
Sure. So as he said, my name is Ray. Go by Ray the video guy, but my real name's Ray Lane. I am outside of Atlanta, Georgia, and we have escape rooms here in Atlanta as well as in California. And before we had escape rooms, we did a lot of marketing for a lot of other businesses, law firms and dentist offices, and you name it. We've done all sorts of video and online marketing stuff. And so now we mostly do it with our escape rooms, but we still do a lot of client work as well. And, the great thing about this is all the stuff that we've told people to do for years, now we can actually do without anybody telling us no, and prove everybody wrong that did tell us no when they didn't want to spend the money to do anything. So, and, just kind of an understanding of that, we have the escape rooms that we have, during the pandemic, while all this was going on, we've more than doubled the sales that were going on there when we purchased the escape rooms that we did pick up, because we did purchase those pre-existing from other companies that were looking to get out. And in both locations, we've more than doubled the sales during COVID than they were making before COVID. So a lot of the stuff that we do definitely does work. And we're going to talk about a few of those things today, hopefully to help you guys to be able to do some of that for yourself.
Yeah, I don't think anybody here is going to disagree that video doesn't work, because we're on video, and that's kind of the reason they're here in the first place right now today. So,
absolutely, yeah.
But
you know what? We gotta dispel a few myths, I think, before we get started, because when it comes to video, there's a ton of myths out there, and I don't even know if I'd call them myths, more like worries. And of course, the biggest one of all is, well, gee, if I'm going to do video, I got to have a $30,000 camera, or I got to hire a camera crew to come out to my place for the day. And we got to, close the place down so we can build this and do that. And none of that's true. Yes, you can do those things. And if you're going to get onto TV and you're going to be, having your commercial run nationally on Law and Order this week, then fine, you got to do these things. But for most businesses, that's not what you're going to be doing. We run ads on TV, but we don't do that kind of stuff. We've got other ways to make sure that we get these things put together that don't interfere and don't cost a ton of money to do. And so I want to talk a little bit about those today, specifically because it's stuff that anybody can do right now without having to, break the bank and shut things down and go out and purchase a bunch of equipment. So, if you guys are okay with that, we'll jump right in and talk about a few of those ideas, if that's all right.
Yeah, and if you don't believe him too, my whole YouTube channel right off this phone.
Yeah,
I don't own a camera right now, so.
Well, and here's the funny thing: we do own cameras. I own some nice cameras, but right now, this right here, that is my iPhone, because I found, believe it or not, that I've got a nice webcam over here. I've got another nice webcam down over here. The iPhone absolutely smokes it 7 days out of the week. I'm not a pretty face, but it's a little prettier when you use that. We were using some nice webcams. They're Logitech C920s, really nice HD cameras. Everybody has one. It's very good cameras. I decided to try a few different experiments. The iPhone was by far the best looking overall out of all the cameras that we tried. And we tried it with GoPros, and the GoPros look great, but they're not made for this type of shooting in a small room like that. They're meant for going underwater and riding bikes through mountains and things, so you can get a really nice view. So they did okay. We also had a Mevo camera that we tried. We also had my DSLR, which was, DSLR, you'd think, oh, that's going to be fantastic. Well, it can look good, but it was a pain in the butt, and it didn't work properly. So overall, I decided to go iPhone, and it's beautiful for that. And I use that for a lot of the shooting. So when I shoot stuff around here, when I shoot stuff for the escape room, most of the time I just grab my iPhone and do it, because regardless of the fact that it's a phone, and when I say iPhone, throw in the latest Samsung phone, interchangeably there. But what I've found is that getting out there and shooting with that, you've got a camera in your pocket that's far better than high-end professional cameras were 15 years ago. You know, they weren't HD. They were standard definition. They looked good, but they were standard definition. Now you've got this 4K thing in your pocket. I mean, it's crazy, and it does a beautiful job. So there's no reason for anybody to not be doing video because they think they need to go out and, you know, buy a $20,000 camera or even $1,000 camera. You don't. You've got it in your pocket. Put it to work, and you can put it to work in a lot of different ways.
I feel like video is like a mental block. Like a lot of people have a problem, like just being on camera or just doing it. And it's honestly, just go out there and do it is the best thing. It's like the same thing with the people with doing your website. Like I had my website sitting there for a year. I didn't even touch it or work on it because I just had like a fear of like doing it. And as soon as I got into it, and now I can't stop messing with it. I can't stop making videos. Like you can get addicted quick on this type of stuff too, people. That's another one.
And the thing that people don't understand too is, you know, everybody on here will probably go, oh, I have no problem. I can go write an article for my website and post it on there. It's actually much easier to do a video than it is to write some 1,000-word article that you're going to put on your website. Much easier. If you get a system down, you know, if you realize that you only have to use your phone and go out there and do it, it's much easier to grab your phone, turn it on, and talk to people than it is to sit there and write it out and make sure you spell check it and change the words and go back and change them again. You do a live video. We're doing a live video right now, and all we have to do is sit here and talk. When this is done, it's done. The content is there. We don't have to edit it. Well, I mean, we can edit it if we wanted to. We don't need to edit any of this. We can just put it out there. It's out in the world, and you're done. And when you're doing other things, articles and whatnot, you got to put a lot more work into it. It's actually easier to do videos once you realize, grab your phone and go out and do it. One thing I will recommend that people do spend money on, and you don't have to spend a lot of money on it, and that is to get a microphone. These phones are fantastic. However, high-end professional video gear or phone, if you're using the on-camera microphone and you're standing 4 or 5 feet away, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be great. So what you need to do is you need to get some kind of microphone, and I use a lot of different microphones. The one we're using today, this is this is a big nasty one that nasty in a good way, as in big and expensive. But this is
my blue Yeti.
Yep, and I've got a Yeti as well. I've also got. Let's see if I can. I don't know if it's in the room here or not. I don't know where I put it, but
that's if you're doing video on here too. You can get a cheap lapel mic for like $50. Like
forget $50. Watch
really
that.
Even cheaper, yeah.
Right here.
They're really cheap.
Two different ones. This is Power Dewise, and this is actually a slightly different one, but same company, Movo. They make beautiful lapel mics for $18. $18. And the both of these, this one and the Movo, you can actually plug into your phone. You can plug it into a camera. You can plug it into your computer. You can plug it into your your tablet, whatever it is. It'll work with all of those things, which is really the beauty part, because a lot of people would go out and they would buy a nice lapel microphone and it would sound great until they realized they can't plug it into their phone. So these here, beautiful job. They actually plug into your phone or into a computer or whatever it is that you need, DSLR. It doesn't matter. It'll plug into any of those things and work because they're built a specific way so that they can work in any of those situations. You don't need adapter. Well, there are some adapters built in, but you don't need to go out and buy all fancy adapters and whatnot. Back in the day, I started shooting with my iPhone a little bit, and I had to buy this big dangly accessory that plugged the microphones in. I mean, and it was like $80 for just this little thing, and it stopped working, and you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. You can get this for $18, $20, plug it in, and go to work. In fact, these here, I actually give these away to people. Like if I'm working with, like for instance, a dentist, and he's going to do a blog or whatever, I'm like, here, take it, because I can get another one, because they are inexpensive. They work really, really well for what you're trying to do, and they're going to make a huge difference. A lot of people don't realize it, but people will gladly watch a video that doesn't look great, hence why I can be on camera, but they won't watch a video if it sounds bad. It's that simple. And I'm not talking about voices, because there are people with terrible voices that you don't want to listen to. But if you've got, if it sounds like this, people are not going to watch. They're just not going to watch that. If it sounds like that, they're not going to watch the video. Even if you got great looking video, if the sound is terrible, they'll turn away. If you got terrible looking video, but they can understand you, they'll stay and they'll watch, or at least listen. So it really is the most important part of the video is the audio track as far as that goes. So do yourself a favor, grab a microphone. You can go. We've got a bunch of different microphones that we use for these different situations. But like I said, my favorite, Movo. In fact, back over here, I've got an entire shelf filled with Movo stuff because they they sponsor us for a lot of the things that we do. So they send us a lot of these microphones to test out and to use and whatnot. So it is a shameless plug, kind of, but it is something that's going to be very effective for you. And realistically, is it much of a shameless plug if I'm selling you on a $20 item instead of a $200 fancier mic? So, you don't need to necessarily go out and buy the big fancy ones. Like this one here, this is a studio mic. This is what you would see in a radio station. This one is an expensive one, but the Yeti, perfectly fine. Movo makes one that looks just like the Yeti, and it's a fantastic microphone.
I think I got this Blue Yeti and the Logitech like C22 or 2. What is it?
922.
Yeah, it's 1080p.
Yep,
this one. So
yep, we've got the 920, and they've got the 922 is like the next version of that one.
Yeah. So I literally got this thing for I want to say like $100, $120 it was, something like that. It was like you get it at like freaking Best Buy. It was like literally. And this is the best thing I possibly like.
Yep. And the great thing is Best Buy, you can get these webcams at Best Buy. You can get the Blue Yeti at Best Buy. You can get there's Samsung, not Samsung, but Samson, like Samson, and they make a nice little desktop microphone that they sell at Best Buy as well. It's really good. So there's a lot of things you can get that you can just go out and get and have today. And, you're going to improve your audio by 100 times. I do recommend the lapel mic because you can take that with you. You're not going to walk around carrying a Yeti attached to your phone out in the streets. It's going to look a little weird, but with the little lapel mic, you can do that. So be sure to take the time to do that. Honestly, it's going to make the biggest difference to your videos. It's cool if you can make a video with fancy graphics and animations and all this other stuff, but realistically, you got to have great audio first so that people understand what you're doing. And, then you can work on the other things. Use a better camera, use better lighting. We in here, I don't do a ton of lighting in here. This little studio here, I do a little daily show out of here where I talk about the escape room stuff. And we don't, this one's, I'm in a very small room. I actually, when we bought this escape room, I moved my office into the escape room, and this office is tiny. So I got a lot more space, but I'm in a tiny little enclosed space where we had a great office down on the other side of town where we had a giant green screen, and, I had this big giant room to myself. Plus I had a room for equipment, and, I don't have all of that anymore. But in fact, I don't even have a green screen at all anymore, which is kind of sad. I missed that. I got to figure out a way to squeeze one in here because we used to do a lot of green screen stuff. Saves me a lot of time to not have to do it, but I do miss kind of the cool stuff we could do. Excuse me. But that's the one thing you got to get over, the equipment thing, because you've got in your pocket exactly what you need. In fact, I have a brand that I use called Pocket Video Pro, and it's because you've got this high-end studio in your pocket if you know how to use it. And there's a lot of great programs, a lot of great applications you can get on your phones that'll help you shoot better. There's trainings on there. I mean, there's just so many things that you can do. So don't be afraid to make video because you don't think you have the equipment. You've got enough equipment. You've got better equipment than professionals had 20 years ago. So that is definitely not a barrier. And if you don't believe me, there are a ton of big name companies that have shot videos for commercials using iPhones. It was Rolls-Royce. Was it Rolls-Royce or Bentley? I think it was Rolls-Royce. They did a whole series back in the iPhone 5, and they shot their commercials on an iPhone 5, and they edited the commercial on an iPad at the time. So that was, I don't know when the iPhone 5 was, 10 years ago, 8 years ago, something like that. So they were doing it back then, and these things have gotten 100 times better. So if a company like Rolls-Royce can go out and shoot their commercials using iPhones, there is no reason you can't do your little video blog with an iPhone or a little local commercial, for your business. So you got to get over that and make sure that you jump out there. But of course, if you're going to do that, you got to have the reasons why you want to do that. So why would you want to create all this video content? Well, there's a lot of great reasons for that, and we're going to go over a couple of these. If you really want to take action with this, you may want to take some notes, because we're going to talk about some kind of techie type things in here. But you're going to learn a lot from doing this. So the biggest thing, of course, is you want to get those videos out there because it's content. And content is king. You need to get as much content out there as you can so that you can start to build a name for yourself, get that content so you can start ranking better, get that content so people can discover who you are. Because once they discover who you are, they start following you, you're going to be able to put out more and more stuff, and you're going to be able to start saying, hey, buy from me as well. And that's what we really want. We want you to become the expert in your field, in your area. I know everybody here is a rental, works in the rental business. So don't be afraid when I say that you want to be the guy, because guess what? You're going to be the guy in your area. If you live in St. Louis, you're not going to be delivering your stuff to Boston. So you don't need to worry about the guy in Boston. You need to worry about St. Louis, or wherever it is that you're at, and become the party rental person in that area. And you can do that very easily with video. And the one thing you want to do is what we call turning up the volume. So whatever you're like, you may say, oh, I'm kind of quiet, and I don't, I'm not a loud person, and, I don't like to be out there. Turn it up, baby. Turn it up. It's like you got to become like your own professional wrestler. Take everything that you do, ramp it up to 10, and get your name out there. So if you're a quiet person, just ramp it up. You don't need to be a different person. You don't need to be a character, but take what you have and take who you are, ramp it up to the next degree so that people can really start to gravitate towards what you're doing. Because quite honestly, if you're, I like to do video, and video can help you with the business, nobody's going to watch that. Now, you got to get out there, and you got to be exciting about the things that you do. If you can, go out and take an acting class. I know it sounds crazy. You deliver party rentals. Why would you need an acting class? Well, if there's an acting class around it just teaches you how to get yourself out there, how to project your voice, how to, do different types of articulations with your voice and things like that. It's certainly not vital, but it's something that you can do. If you think that you're a little too quiet, a little too boring, and you're not sure how to say things, get out there, learn how to do that. And that's a great way to do it. Community theater and things like that. I know, because you guys have all the free time in the world, right? So get out there and do that. But no, seriously, if you get a chance to do something like that, do it so that you can start to learn how to really engage people with your voice. And hopefully that's what we're doing here today when I talk to you, is that we're being a bit engaging, being a bit loud, being a bit ruckus, and making sure that people keep paying attention because of that. And so that's something that you can definitely...
Getting rowdy in here, everybody.
Get ready!
Let's go. No, seriously, though. Like they say, the camera drains like a third of your energy, so you just got to get out there.
That's right.
To be honest with you, I'm a really hyper person, but I actually have to. I downed it down so I don't cuss a lot out here. Yeah. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, because here's a quick tip: you make 8 times less money on the internet if you swear.
That's interesting. Boom. I've never heard that. There's been a lot of debate about that. So that's
the one dude that works for Mr. Beast thing with Daryl Eves that we're talking about. We're talking new YouTube speak right now, but he was actually dropped it. It was a big thing. He actually wrote it in his book and everything.
Nice.
He just released too.
I'm not surprised. I'm really not. There are some people who say, "Oh, well, it's more real," and but there's a lot of people that are turned off by that.
8 times. Gary Vee even has a no swearing section for one of his channels and stuff like that. He tries to tone it down a little bit, and he's like the king of, I'll say whatever the hell I want. You know what I mean? So.
Yep. And think about your audience, because in the case of party rentals, who's your audience? Moms. I know a lot of you do big events and things, but if it's going to be in a home, it's going to be the moms that are looking, and they don't want to bring somebody, hey, F this, F that. They don't want that being brought to their house, So you got to dial that down a little bit and make sure that you're exciting, make sure that you're fun, but make sure you dial that part down so you don't scare them off at the same time. So, but you got to have fun with all this stuff, and you got to really enjoy it and learn to enjoy it. If you don't like being on camera, learn to be on camera. What I used to tell people all the time is, because one of the biggest fears, we would work with dentists and we would work with lawyers. Well, the lawyers didn't care as much, but the dentists certainly did, and the pest control people. They didn't want to get on camera though. I don't want to, oh, I got fat cheeks and I got a bald head. I want to get on there, or my voice sounds funny. Well, you know what? When you get out there, people are going to see you in person. So what's the difference if they see you on camera or if they see you in person? You're the same person either way. So don't be afraid to get on camera. If I can get on camera, anybody can get on camera. And I'm on camera far too much probably. So, get out there and do that. But don't be afraid of that. So again, the equipment, don't be afraid of the equipment. Don't be afraid to get on camera. Turn up that volume and really start to get out there, draw a following. You're going to get a following if you do these things and you are exciting, at least a little bit exciting, so that people want to listen to you. And the great thing about this is there are so many different audiences out there. So don't be afraid to be you, because you may say, oh, you know what? I'm Joe's Party Rental and Pete's Party Rentals. He already does these videos, so I can't do that. Well, you know what? You got to do it anyway. Don't be afraid that there's other people out there doing it, because there's going to be people that gravitate to you versus Pete, and therefore you need to get your stuff out there, because not everybody's going to like what Pete has to say or how he says it or how he looks, but they might like your stuff better. And you got to get out there and just do what you got to do to make sure people pay attention to you.
Some people might not even like Pete.
That's right. Some people don't like Pete. I'm still looking for Pete. You're in trouble. But no, you got to get out there and just do it. Don't be afraid to be on camera. Don't be afraid to get out there. People are going to be drawn to you. You have knowledge that they don't. Therefore, they're going to listen to you. Gary V is the bomb, said somebody. Yeah, he's weird, isn't he? No, Gary V is great, and definitely listen to him. But he's the perfect example of that. He gets out there and does it. He was one of the first to do these live shows and even recorded shows. And
my library.
He did make a mistake. He said he trained people to watch him every single day, and so now he's stuck doing a show every single day, which he said was probably the biggest mistake he made. But the point is, people do follow him, and they will follow you. It might take a while. Do not be afraid to get out there, do your live videos on your Facebook page. Get out there and do them on your YouTube channel. Get out and do them. You might have nobody watch you the first time. You might have nobody watch you the 10th time. You might have 2 people watch you the 20th time. But you know what? Eventually, you're going to get people that watch, and people are going to watch the replays.
If you really are into it, you don't even have to have your face on there, actually, too.
No.
You can just buy a bunch of stock footage and throw it together and throw some video editing in the background, voice it over, pay somebody on Fiverr to voice it over.
Absolutely. We just did the commercial that we're running on TV right now for the escape room here in Georgia. I don't think it has one single frame of video in it that is actually from this location. It's all stock footage of like clocks and locks and people searching with flashlights and all this kind of stuff that I got on stock media. None of it was shot. We didn't shoot one frame of video for that. I made some animation stuff for it because that's one of the things I do. But all of it was, there were some images that we used for the games, but even those were made originally from stock images. But all of it was done that way. So you don't necessarily need to get on camera for that. And by the way, there are other ways to do videos regardless of that. A lot of the videos that I do, and maybe this doesn't apply as much to the Party Rental, but maybe it does in some ways. A lot of the stuff that I do are tutorial videos. And so I'm showing PowerPoint presentations and talking. So you got a live video that's a PowerPoint presentation, or a live video that is your screen capture. You're showing your screen and showing how to do something on the screen, so you don't have to appear on there at all. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. You can have, completely animated videos. You mentioned Fiverr. Fiverr, believe it or not, Fiverr is one of the top places that I get things. I get jingles for companies on there. I get theme songs. I get sometimes graphic stuff on there, logos. One of my video editors came from Fiverr originally. I had him edit something for me, and he became an editor that we use all the time outside of Fiverr now. So there's a lot of great things that you can do without having to necessarily be on camera. I do recommend in this type of a business, get on camera though. Don't be afraid of that. You don't have to, but I'm going to tell you, you should, because you're going to show up at that person's house and they're going to see you anyway. So you might as well do it on camera so they feel like they know you before you even walk in the door. And that's always a good thing. We used to love that when we dealt with a lot of bankruptcy lawyers back in the day, going back to like 2009 when all the bankruptcies were a big thing. We worked with a lot of those lawyers and we got them on camera all the time. And people would come in and they'd be like, wow, you know what? I already feel like I know you and I trust you. So let's just get this done. So it is a big benefit to be able to do that. Now, speaking of benefits, there are some other great benefits to doing videos besides the notoriety, besides the content. And a lot of that has to do with rankings and, having people find you on the internet. Because believe it or not, and a lot of people don't realize this because you don't see it super often, but you see it often enough that you've probably noticed it. You can get your videos onto page 1 of Google. Okay. So if you do a YouTube video, you put your video up there, there is a good possibility that when somebody searches party rentals in Pittsburgh, that your video is going to show up on page 1. Now, why is that important? Well, it's important for a couple of reasons. One, that video is going to have a nice big thumbnail on page 1. That is huge. That draws the eye, that gets people to pay attention. And the cool thing about that is what we found is a lot of times that video being on page 1 is like a billboard. People find it, people see it. They don't even watch the video. They see the phone number and they call it because they saw that picture on there and they just called the number immediately. Didn't even have to watch the video. So getting those videos onto page 1 can really make a big difference. And a little secret, put your phone number right in the title. And that way they see that phone number right there. They'll pick up the phone and they'll call. And we've done test after test and people will do that. They will see that thumbnail on page 1. They'll see that phone number. They'll dial it and they'll say, hey, we need a party rental. And so it can be very beneficial that way. And of course, the other side of that is if you've got a video on page 1, guess what's not there on page 1? Your competition. They're gone. You booted them off page 1 because the ultimate goal is you want to be number 1 on those maps. You want to have your website show up on page 1. You want to have a video show up on page 1 and then maybe your Yelp listing and your Facebook page. If you search for escape rooms in our area, we own the entire page 1, everything from top to bottom with videos, with the maps, everything. We are number 1 on all of that. You do not see another escape room on page 1 when you search in our area. And that's what you want to get to. Now, in bigger cities, that's going to be tougher to do. Smaller cities, you can definitely do it. And in the bigger cities, you can at least partially do that and boot some of those guys off of page 1. And you know what they say about page 1, right? Page 2, right?
What is page 2?
The best place to hide a dead body would be on page 2 of Google because nobody's ever going to see it. And that's the truth. Very few people go past page 1. They search on page 1. If you show up there, they call. The only way they're going to go to page 2 is if the people that they called on page 1 were terrible and not a single person was able to help them out. Then they might go to page 2, but it's very, very rare. Nobody does it. So you want to be on page 1 as much as you possibly can. The maps being the biggest thing. And here's a kind of cool thing. We tell people, obviously we're big into video. We do a lot of social media type stuff. We do a lot of graphical stuff. But I tell people all the time, regardless of the fact that we're video, the number 1 thing that any business in a local industry can do right now is be at the top of those Google Maps. You got to be there, the Google My Business stuff. And I believe that the statistic was something like 80% of all the phone calls when people search locally go to one of those 3 companies. If you're number 4, doesn't matter. You're one of those 3. They used to put 11 on those maps on page 1. Then it was 7. Now it's 3. So you've only got a 1 in, if there's 100 party rental places, you got a 3% chance of being there. And that 3% is going to make you a lot more money. So you got to work on getting there. And one of the ways that you can get there is by doing lots of videos and putting your name, address, and phone number in the description of all those videos. That is going to be a huge benefit and help you get to page 1. And it's not hard to do. You make any video and you put that in there. It's not hard to do. So
I would even do just name and phone number and just like individual areas and stuff like that, like with individual addresses, just keep it even more local.
Oh,
there's
there's
aggressive things you can do with video and video. Listen, there's a lot of talk in these groups about website SEO and all this stuff, but nobody really talks about YouTube SEO or anything like that. And Google owns SEO or Google owns YouTube.
Yep.
So it's kind of compatible. That's all I gotta say.
It's not only just compatible, but think about this, okay? What we tell people all the time is, if you've got a YouTube channel, you've got the opportunity, you've got the ability to put links on that channel itself, and that's going to be powerful links that are going to give you the backlinks that you need for your website, the backlinks to whatever. On top of that, you put your name, address, and phone number in the About section. You've built what's called a citation. Now we're getting technical here. A citation is anywhere on the web where Google can find your name, address, and phone number. And when they find that, that's going to boost your Google My Business page. So you put that in the About section. You put that in all of your videos. You put that in your playlists. Every time you do that, you're building more and more of these citations. And here's the great thing. If you put 100 videos on your channel, you've got 100 citations. Plus you make a couple playlists. You got them there on your About section. And then you go out and you share those videos all over the web on all these different other sites. You know, share them on Facebook. You share them on Delicious and Digo and, you know, all these bookmarking sites. Well, now you take those 100 citations, multiply them by however many times you shared each one, and the next thing you know, you got 1,000 citations out there.
All right, we're losing them now. What's happening here? This is the type of stuff that, like, once you start doing videos, you might want to get this nerdy and actually put them, because you can do some wild things with them. And
there's nothing nerdy about it. As long as you can copy and paste your name, address, and phone number, you got it.
It's actually really easy. It's scary easy how easy this stuff is. Even working with websites actually pretty easy. Like building my website, it really only took me like 2 or 3 months to build something that I think is almost like a masterpiece. So
and you got to think of it like this too. You know, if you were a personal injury lawyer in a big city, you got to really work at SEO. You got to really work at all of these different things. When you're a party rental company in a medium-sized city, nobody else is doing the stuff you're doing if you're doing any of this stuff. If you're doing videos, if you're doing any SEO, if you're doing any type of optimization, you're going to be miles ahead of almost everybody else, because nobody in these smaller businesses does this. And it's not just party rental. I'm talking plumbers. I'm talking dentists. I'm talking, you know, once you get into bigger law firms, car dealerships, those guys are starting to do stuff and they're really competing. But for the most part, if you're doing that in a party rental business, you're probably the only one doing it in the area, or one of 2 people. And guess what? As long as there's not more than 3, you're probably going to end up on that 3-pack anyway. So you just got to get out there and put the effort in, put the work in, and you're going to be able to get up there. No doubt about it. It's just a matter of keeping it up and keeping it going. And this goes with social media. You got to, get those videos on social media, post on social media. I deal with clients all the time. They share me their Facebook page. Oh, here's my Facebook page. And you go on there and they posted Merry Christmas last year. And that was the last time they posted anything on Facebook. Well, guess what? Nobody's watching that Facebook page. I'm posting, depending upon the day of the week, I'm posting, 3 things a day. Plus, every time somebody plays an escape room, their picture goes up there. So we might be posting 40 times a day for, some of these days. And people still don't pay attention. So if you're not posting anything ever, except for a couple times a year, Happy Thanksgiving, oh, here's a Christmas special, whatever, nobody's going to pay attention to you. They may like your page, but they're never gonna be following what you're doing.
Yeah,
so
we
mix it up and
do have some nerdy things too about this stuff too. Like, how about, say your biggest competitor who is doing videos and they're running a video ad on their Facebook. Did you know that you can actually go look right at it and see what their ads are doing and what they're doing on their ads? Because you have the public right to know that. So just so you can find out what works best for your competitors very easily.
Oh yeah. And that goes for Google too. You can see a lot of that stuff. There's a lot of tools that will help you to figure all these things out. Study your competitors. You use TubeBuddy, right?
Yep.
And you can go into TubeBuddy and you can find out what your competitors are doing, how well they're doing, how you're doing against them, all that kind of stuff. And we used to shock some of the lawyers and stuff when we would show what we were doing on YouTube, and we'd pull up TubeBuddy and you'd see these bars, and they had this big long bar with their picture at the top, and then you'd see like these little slivers at the bottom that were their competition and what they were doing, because we were doing so much more, they couldn't even graphically show what the competition was doing.
Yep.
So you can do these things and you can see what people are doing, and you just have to do it a little bit better. There's a famous saying, you got to do one of a couple of things in business. You've either got to be better or you got to be different. And really, those are the only two options, unless different is doing nothing when somebody else is doing something. But point being is, you got to either do better than somebody's doing, or you got to do something different. What does that mean? Well, look at the competition. If they're absolutely crushing it for bouncy castles, whatever it is, but that's the only thing they're going for, well, guess what? You go in and you do slides, be the guy that dominates slides, be the guy that dominates chair rentals and popcorn rentals, whatever, because you're different now. You're hitting something different. And when you do that, eventually you're going to compete with them in what they're doing too, because you got to build up that, for lack of a better word, that gravitas with all of these different search engines and with all these different social media platforms. And once you do, they will help you out. They will favor you over the competition when you're doing things. It's just like with your YouTube channel. If you got a YouTube channel, you gotta post. You've got to put a graphic banner at the top. Did you know, a lot of people don't know this, if you don't put that graphic banner at the top, they won't even give you some of the tools that you can use inside of YouTube. You have to do this. You have to put your logo icon on there. If you don't put those things, they're not even going to show you some of the things that you can do inside of Google marketing wise and whatnot. They're not going to give it to you because you're not even taking the time to do that. So you got to do these things. And same thing, Google My Business, you got to get in there and post pictures. You got to post videos in there, get all that stuff filled out as best you can. Post often. We go in every single week, we go to Yelp. We go to Google My Business. Well, Google My Business has some automated things we do every day anyway. But every single week, we go to Yelp. We go to Google My Business. We go to TripAdvisor, because TripAdvisor is big for us. It's probably not in the party rental business as much, but for us, it's a big thing. And we go to each of those and we post new pictures every single week with text underneath them that has keywords in it, because the people are going to find you by doing these things. So if you got to take just a little bit of time. I used to do it every Friday. I would do that. Now we've got one of our guys that does it for us, and hopefully he's doing it every week. Have to pay attention to these guys sometimes when it comes to this, but hopefully they're doing it every single week. They're supposed to be. But that's just going to help you to show up. And when you search for us, our Yelp page shows up. Yelp is a powerful tool, and I know people are rolling their eyes right now because they hate Yelp. Well, guess what? I hate Yelp too, but I also love Yelp. I hate Yelp because they're a bunch of buttheads and they do a lot of cruel and stupid things, but I like them because we get traffic from them. So you can hate them and still realize that you need to work with them a little bit. You don't need to pay them any money, but you got to at least, be active in there a little bit, because they're going to send you traffic.
I like when people ask, oh, what about Bing? Well, if you optimize for Google, you're pretty much optimizing for Bing, so don't really worry about it too much.
Yeah, and there are things you can do in Bing. Like if you go to Bing, you can actually, believe it or not, if you go into Bing and you look up their local stuff, you can click one button that says, import from Google My Business, and it'll just pull the Google My Business stuff into Bing. Nice and easy. Takes 2 minutes. And it's going to bring in all that stuff for you automatically. Don't get me wrong. Bing is, very, very small amount of the search population. I think Google is at like 70% right now, and everybody else makes up that other 30%. But, you want to be there and you want to make sure it's optimized well. But if you optimize your website, it's going to work for all of them, like you said. So it's not a huge deal there. But the local stuff, you definitely want to get in there and make sure that you've got your local business in the local area, because that does take some effort. And those videos will show up there too. Microsoft will Bing will show those videos. DuckDuckGo will show the videos on page one. So a lot of these will do that. You just got to get out there and make sure that you optimize it as best you can. And, it's not hard. In fact, again, this will be one of those boring note-taking times, folks. So we need to have a graphic that's like, grab your pen. When you do your videos, it's really pretty simple. In your title, make sure what we do is we do information about the video, phone number if there's enough space, and branding. So if you've got a video for John's Bounce Houses and you're going to be talking about slides, you could say, you would say the video is about inflatable slides. So the title would be something like inflatable slides in whatever city, in Pittsburgh. And then, there we go, write it down. And then the phone number, and then John's Bouncy Houses. So you've got what the video is about, contact, and then you've got the branding, because you always want to get the branding in there for a couple of reasons. One, if you get the branding out there a lot, it's going to really build your name identity when people are doing searches and whatnot, and it's going to help on sites like YouTube, your videos will show up on that side panel more when people are searching. So if they pull one of your videos out, it's more likely on that side panel that the other videos are going to be yours as well, because they've got that unique thing in the title over and over and over again. So they know that those things are related, and they'll start to put them together. Your description. Get in the description, and this, definitely write this down. Make sure that your contact information is in the first 3 lines of your description. And definitely put in http:// and then your website, because if you don't, it's not going to be clickable. You want people to be able to click on it and go to your website. So get that in the first 3 lines. And the reason for that is if you open up a YouTube video on your desktop, you'll notice they only show the first 3 lines of the description. And then there's a button that says more. So you have to hit more to see the rest. So if your phone number isn't in those first 3 lines, they don't see it. If your clickable link isn't in those first 3 lines, they won't see it and they can't click. However, all the rest of that hidden stuff still works for SEO. So make sure you fill that out really, really well. And what we like to do is start it off with your keyword. So if your keyword is, inflatable slides Pittsburgh, and that's your keyword, make sure you start that description with that, and then put, call us now for your inflatable slide, or all your inflatables, or your party rentals, whatever you want to say, and put the phone number, put that website, and you're going to be good to go just by doing that. Then after you get all that in there, now you want to put information about that video. So if you're talking about a certain bouncy house, put in the information about that bouncy house. You can put in the size, you can put in the colors, you can put in the choices they have, you can put in the price, whatever that video is about, put that in there in a paragraph or 2. But then below that, make sure you put in some paragraphs about your business. So this would be, we started in 1982 and we've been doing parties ever since. And then you could put things like, here's some of the items we rent. We rent this, we rent that, we rent the other thing, and list those things right out on the page there. You could even put links directly to those things. So if you say we rent chairs, you could put a link down below that says, whatever your website is /chairs, and they can go directly to there and rent chairs. So don't be afraid to do that. Once you get to the bottom of that information about your business, then you want to put your name, address, and phone number, like we talked about. It's got to be in there. Name, address, and phone number. Again, I put my website again underneath that. And then I actually put a link directly to my Google My Business listing, because that creates a link directly to that, which will help to rank that up as well. And then I put direct links to 5-star reviews. So I'll go to Google My Business. I'll get the share link for some 5-star reviews and say, here's some reviews. Use your keyword again. Here's some reviews about our inflatable slides in Pittsburgh. So another place to kind of squeeze that keyword in there. Put in a couple of those 5-star reviews, links right to that. That's deep linking to your Google My Business. That's going to help it to rank better. So do that. Put links to your social media, and then you can end it off with your keywords again, a share link for your other videos, maybe a link to a couple of the other videos that you have. And don't forget to use things like hashtags, which work. So if you put your city, so #Pittsburgh, that's going to link your video to all the videos that use that hashtag in Pittsburgh. So somebody could be looking for a dentist and hit Pittsburgh, and your video might show up. So it's a good way to connect those things out there. And once you do all that, you're going to have the option to put your tags in the bottom. Tags are like keywords. So anything you think would be a keyword, put it in there. Big, short, long, whatever. Get some of those keywords in there. And make sure you put in your address. It's going to give you an opportunity to put your address in there, and that's going to help you to be found locally with your video. So if somebody's saying, if they're in Pittsburgh and they're saying, I need a bouncy house, but they don't say, I need a bouncy house in Pittsburgh, well, because you geotagged your video now, you're going to be the one who shows up, not somebody in California, because they know, oh, this guy's in Pittsburgh. Here's a video about inflatable slides in Pittsburgh. And so make sure you do those things, and those are really going to help to beef up your videos. And by putting in all that information, you've now SEO'd the living heck out of that video. It's way more likely to show up at the top of Google, and it's way more likely to show up on page 1 of Google and boot those enemies off the page. So
there you go. Listen, you know how many people have literally just been asking me about this video, and they've been wanting to learn this information? This is who is a special guest. This is Ray, the video guy.
That's me. So I realize, guys, that I've been talking 100 miles an hour, and this is like drinking from the fire hose, and I get that, but this stuff will make a difference. And, like I said, and I'm not going to say that video is what totally changed my business, but it was a part of the whole package that has allowed us, even during COVID, to more than double what was being made in these businesses before we bought them. So it's video helps, SEO helps, advertising helps. Don't be afraid to advertise. Videos are great for advertising. We get, well, we'll tell you about that in a minute here, but advertising, fixing up the Google My Business, making sure that you're doing your posting on social media, interact with people on social media. One of the things that we do, by the way, that works really well is we do our live videos, but we also make sure that we subscribe to all the businesses in the area, their pages, their YouTube channels, whatever they have, we subscribe to them, because guess what? When I see that there's a lady just over here at, I always want to say Panera, and I'm sorry, it's Great Harvest Bread Company. She goes live all the time. And every single time she goes live, you can guarantee I hit watch that video, and I comment on it right then and there. And she knows that we're there. And we do that with every business we can. We also mention a lot of the businesses in our stuff. So when I do videos, like today, we had the Rotary Club, which I'm a member of, 7 o'clock this morning, did a whole bunch of escape rooms. So that was nice at 7 a.m. But we did these escape rooms at 7 a.m. We had Great Harvest bring all the food. Well, we went live and we're like, hey, we got the Rotary Club here. Great Harvest brought in food. We also had food from Bojangles Chicken. And we mentioned these people and we tag them because they want to be able to, we want them to see that we're actively talking about them. And here's what happens with that. In some of our videos, I've talked about, there's another place down the way here. It's called Diablo's Southwest Grill. And the guy that owns it, I've become friends with. And I became friends with him because I would talk about him. I would get onto my Facebook page for this business here and be like, and I would just do things like, and this is always fun, is, hey, it's a great day for an escape room. So why not head over to a place like Diablo's Southwest Grill, grab a burrito, and then come play an escape room. And we tag them on that. And they noticed these things. And we made, they've come in. He brought his family in and brought like 10 people in and played escape rooms and paid for them all. He's bringing his entire team, and he owns multiple of these restaurants. He's bringing them all in to do a Diablo's, training, do escape rooms thing. And so we're going to make hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars just because we mentioned this guy, And
it was benefiting you the whole time too.
Yeah, and promoting me at the same time. Absolutely.
Like here's a tip and trick for actual party rental people too. Like I don't do like fiddle around, mess around, like decorate your party, theme it. I don't do that. There's people that do it. And they love taking pictures of their setups and showing them all the time. Yep. And everyone I see on Facebook, I share it on my business page and say, this is awesome, blah, blah, blah. And they love it. So then they start sharing my setups on their business page.
That's exactly it.
Their followers. But not only is it just your escape room and that's a taco place or whatever, but I'm talking about this person wants to rent parties. We rent parties. And that's when it's really, really wild.
Absolutely. And we do other things with the restaurants. Like a lot of these restaurants, we go out to them and we get coupons. And we'll actually hide them in the rooms. So when people are, doing what, and we don't make it overt. Like one of our rooms, for instance, is called the Motel Nightmare, and you're locked into this nasty old motel. Well, in the the little hotel book that you get in all the hotels with the concierge stuff, we put coupons in there for these businesses that they can actually take while they're playing the game and go over and use it at these restaurants. And the restaurants love it because people are picking these things up and we're hiding them in there. We're mentioning them in our videos. We're mentioning them on the website, on Facebook posts and everything else. Hey, come in, and we've got, coupons hidden for Diablo's and for Great Harvest and for this and for that. And it works really, really well. They love it and they recommend you more. We've gotten a lot of people who have come in here specifically because they said, oh, Kim told us we didn't even know this was here. Kim told us to come over, when we were getting a sandwich, and they'll come over because of that and they'll play a game. So you got to be interactive with this. I mentioned the Rotary Club. we joined, and this has nothing to do with video really, although it ends up having to do with video, but that's another story. We joined things like the Rotary Club because it gets us out there in the community, and then these people know that we exist, and they're going to tell everybody else about us. And not only that, but the other good side of that is then you get to know the carpet cleaners and these guys, and they'll give you discounts and things like that when you need that kind of stuff done. So it's a big benefit. And by the way, going back to video with this, one of the other things that we've done is go out and do videos with these other companies. Yep. Be like the local business guru guy as well. You're the party rental guy, but be the person who helps local businesses. You go out there and you interview, hey, this is John from John's catering company. And if you're having a party and you're getting slides and everything, John does great catering. John, tell us about your catering company. You can do things like that.
Hopefully nobody steals this, because I'll confront them, because I'm that type of dude. But no, seriously. Yeah. No, I'm talking to local. You can steal it wherever you want. That's why I'm saying this. But I was actually thinking of doing all the local events for that week and doing a weekly just podcast or whatever, and just talking about all the local events happening and different things, like different carnivals and different stuff. And be like, or you can have a party at your house with just in case party rentals, blah, blah, blah. But it just gets people local into maybe doing it. It's just one of my million ideas I have. But will I do it yet? I don't know. Once I have more free time, maybe if I can actually automate it. If I find a good website that I could just do all the videos maybe for a year and just have it on a post schedule if I got some time. Yeah. Right now I'm growing my business. So like that's what we were saying before. Because you all have all the time in the world to do all this stuff. You know what I mean? I don't know how I literally, I try to be the king of dual content. That's a whole nother story, but dual content's great. Because literally there's just so much to do here. And if I wasn't able to use some of this footage that I'm using to teach you people to be able to use in my party rental business, this wouldn't totally be worth it for me. Right. So dual content. That's what I'm
and try to be everywhere. I tell people all the time, you don't need to be the Twitter expert and the Instagram expert and the Facebook expert and the YouTube expert. You want to use all these things, but be in control of the one you like. If you're a Twitter guy, use that to the nth degree. Use the other ones less actively, but do it. We put all of our stuff on Twitter. We put all of our stuff on Instagram. We put all of our stuff on Tumblr and all these different places. But 90% of my stuff is either Facebook or YouTube. Yes, we send all that other stuff out to the other places, but I'm not actively on Twitter. I couldn't even tell you the last time I went on Twitter. I don't even understand Twitter. And I don't care that I don't understand Twitter. I understand it enough to be able to automatically share my stuff out to it. That's all I care about. But there are other people who like Twitter, so they're going to see my stuff there. And that's all I care about at that. But we spend a lot of time on Facebook. We spend a lot of time on YouTube because those are the ones that I like. Those are the ones that I understand. And you can't, you could, but you don't necessarily need to be an expert on all of the different platforms. Use them as best you can, but, do really well on one or two of the platforms. And the others will.
That's what Gary Vee says. Go hard on what you know. If you're good playing around with Facebook, go hard with Facebook. And then once you do pretty well, get out of your comfort zone. Go mess around with TikTok a little bit, okay? Yep. You know what I mean? Now, here's something I hate. And I know one of the reasons why it happens is because when you make a video on TikTok, it embeds that TikTok thing on there. But don't upload your TikTok videos as shorts on YouTube. Don't upload, if you're gonna be lazy, do it that way. But I don't click on them and stuff like that either. I watch off of them. I don't like when I see all the TikTok stuff.
It's a different audience.
Facebook. It's weird. It's just it's becoming normal. It's probably gonna go away, the bug or something like that. But I don't know. It might get more aggressive.
Well, YouTube's doing their own TikTok-like platform now, so you may see TikTok lose a lot of steam once that gets.
That's what I've been saying too. You could do a shorts channel on YouTube, and that'll help beef you up too. Under a minute instead of the phone. To get what is it, 16 by 9? What is it?
Well, 16 by 9 is your widescreen, but then
that's So this is 16 by 9. You turn your phone sideways. This is something we should teach them anyways. When you're on YouTube, you turn your phone sideways. The first video I ever did, I was holding it like a TikTok video basically. You hold it straight up. you should hold your phone sideways when you're recording. This will turn it into this. This way you don't got to zoom in on it and you don't get everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's a pain in the neck, you know. Obviously, in the old days, we had square TVs. Now we got the widescreen TVs. So the phones, we turn them sideways. Well, now, of course, you know, TikTok wants them vertical. And believe it or not, on Facebook, you take up more real estate on Facebook by doing it tall than you do wide, you know, because it's a fixed width. And so they'll blow that tall one up to fit that width, or they'll shrink yours down to fit that. So you sometimes you got to use different formats to do different things, but
that's where you're going to get really nerdy with this stuff. I love it. I love video.
Well, and speaking of that, you know, one of the other things, if you're going to do all these things, you know, what kind of videos can you make? Obviously, we're doing right here, live video, very easy to do. He's using StreamYard. I use a program called Mimo Live. There's a whole bunch of other ones, Ecamm and everything else in between, where you can do these things very, very easily. You can do a lot of it from Zoom, you know, record videos that way. But there's a lot of other things you can do for videos too, because it's all about content. I tell people kind of jokingly, you know, you could take a blue square and make a video out of the blue square and optimize it like crazy and do well with just the video that's a blue square, because you're doing all the other things right. But if you want to do videos, you know, there's a lot you can do. Slideshows, I hate them, but they can be effective. One of the things that we do with clients all the time is we do what are called reputation videos. So a reputation video is we actually go out and we pull all of your 5-star reviews from Google and all your 5-star reviews from Yelp and all your 5-star reviews from Facebook. I guess they don't do stars anymore, but all your positive reviews from Facebook. And we turn those into a video, each one. So literally it'll be like, you know, John's Party Service. And then it'll have a spokesperson on there who's like, hey, you know, we love when our customers take the time to say how great we are. And then it shows the 5-star review and talks over that. And then it says, so give us a call today. And we build that content, because if you got 100 5-star reviews and you do one video a week, you got 100 weeks worth of content just from those videos. Easy to do. Do that kind of thing. Another thing, video testimonials. Try to get your clients to do video testimonials. It can be hard. They don't want to do it. They don't want to get on there, but give them a reason to do that.
Your cousin to fake it.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know what? The thing is, and this is something people don't understand a lot of times. People worry about like fake reviews and things like that, and you don't want to do fake reviews. You don't want fake Google reviews or Yelp reviews, but your party rental company, it doesn't need to be somebody who rented a slide to give you a 5-star review. Your accountant can do it and say, hey, I've worked with so-and-so for 5 years. They know what they're doing. They do a great job, because all that's true. So get your accountant to give you a 5-star review. Get your, you know, anybody that's worked with you in any capacity. Google actually allows you to have employees do reviews. They need to say that I've been working, you know, you need to have it kind of declared in there that it's an employee, but they can give you reviews. You can have employee reviews as well. There's a lot of things you can do, you know, but try to get your customers to leave testimonials. What we do right now, we've got a new program that we just started implementing, and I've got it out here. There's QR codes on the doors when they go to leave that says, hey, want a free admission to the escape room? You know, leave us a video testimonial. They scan that, they leave a video testimonial, they get a free admission. They don't even, and we're not saying you have to give us a good one. You could tell us we suck. You're going to get the free admission anyway. You know, that's the way you got to kind of treat it. Hopefully nobody will ever tell us we suck on video like that. But, you know, if they leave you a terrible video, give them the free admission, just don't use the video. But, you know, get out there and do those types of things.
Here's a good question. Feel free to ask questions.
Throw in the questions.
I think we're answering them all because nobody's been asking too many questions. But then we got this one like really early. And I want to get into it, but I didn't want to like derail this too off. But what about drones? Drone video. So you need a drone license if you're going to fly a drone over, what is it, like 0.85 pounds or something like that? It's like something. It's like ridiculous. You got to get a FFA license to be able to do it. And when you get that license, and listen, it doesn't even matter about the weight, because wait a second, you're doing videos to make money. So you're making money off those videos. So that it doesn't matter the weight of it. You have to get a drone if you're going to make any type of money and monetize. Even if you're not making money and your channel becomes monetized over 1,000 subscribers and blah, 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 well, then you're making money. So then you have to have a license or whatever. So you got to get it. And then you can't fly it within like 5 miles of an airport without getting a permit, or like in the city without getting a permit. You got to watch it. Drones are the thing of the future. Drones are a good thing to invest in. I would paint it like if I was doing an event, I would try and buddy up with a drone guy and get him to come in. Somebody who listen, going to go get your own drone and getting into it. I've heard, most people that I know that are good with drones, they told me they broke 3 of them before they got good. Have you heard that?
Oh, I know many people that have broken a lot of drones.
So it's like, you know what I mean? Take that into account if you're going to think you're going to just do your own drone footage and stuff like that. I would just pay out of pocket and like have him come for an hour, or maybe listen. We put your thinking hat on and you just give the guy a bounce house. You know what I mean? or a tent rental or something, and tell him to do footage. Or you tell him, hey, this is what I do. I give away all my secrets. I'm horrible. I'm a horrible businessman. So I actually will go up to a wedding planner and I tell him straight out, like, do photos for me and I'll put you on my website. So when I do a wedding, then you're my recommended photographer. So I'm just an influx for business to you. I won't recommend anywhere else, but I want free photography.
Yeah, I mean that type of stuff is always good. Anytime you can connect with people and do that, it's always going to be a positive thing. We try to connect with a lot of event planners, which has been tough.
I was going to mention Travis too. Yeah, I was like, Travis got drones. Look at boom. That's the one guy that I know with drones, pretty much.
I guess some of the newer ones though, they make them. I don't want to say crash proof, but it's a lot tougher to crash them now. They kind of handle themselves when it comes to that. But
crash resistant.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's kind of like an actual airplane. You know, they can actually take off and land by themselves. The pilots do it, but if the pilot passed out, they can still take off and land. And
well, I know they have
like drones are getting like
if
that.
it goes out of range for whatever reason, it can come back to you to like a starting point where if it started, it just hover there and go down.
Yeah.
I know it does stuff like that, but like I don't know if you free fall, if it stops you, that'd be wild.
That would be nice.
They will hover.
Yeah, they will hover and auto land. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because I haven't personally done a lot with drones. I've worked with a lot of people that use drones, but I don't personally have one. I think I've only flown one time ages ago just for fun. But it's a great thing if you can do. I mean, in the old days, do you know how hard it was to get this kind of footage in the old days before the drones? I think somebody posted something nice.
No, I just thought of something really funny because I was actually driving around, I think like 2 years ago, and there was like this dude, and he was just like in this field with like this goggles, and he's flying his drone around, and I just like I don't know if I had like I think I had an air horn on me, or something, and I scared the shit out of him, and just boom, the drone just.
Oops.
Yeah, no, I try not to do stuff like that anymore, but like that was just like I thought about that and I just could not stop laughing.
Drones, I mean, I remember in the old days we had people that wanted to do drone-like stuff, and you had to hire people that had like these mini helicopters, and those things were enormous. I mean, they were like 100 pounds and they were gigantic.
I don't make those anymore because they're falling out of the sky and hitting people.
And there's no need. There's no need anymore. Yep. Either that or you had to hire somebody that had a real plane that would do it. Or what we ended up doing a lot of times is we would get these gigantic boom poles and just put the camera on there and hold them way up in the air and try to do it that way, to get away with it. Obviously not nearly as high in the air, but you can get a similar type of effect with that. And so, drones have changed everything as far as that goes. So we love those. If you can get drone footage, that's great. And obviously you want drone footage of your tents being put up and things like that. But if you ever need drone footage of just the area, you can probably buy it. So, if you're in whatever city and you want to have drone footage of the city, not necessarily with your stuff, but just there's drone footage to purchase.
That's where we get back into the B-roll people. Like you don't even have to, you can have a faceless channel. You can have a faceless brand. Like it's not, I'm actually thinking of doing faceless for mine. I don't know. I'm split between doing faceless and jumping and wearing a giant Evel Knievel suit and doing like my own. So yeah, I'm right.
There you go.
It's one of the, it's either if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. That's all I'm going to say, people. If I'm going to be on video for my local channel, I'm going to do it. But I don't know.
Got to have fun with it. If you have fun, they'll have fun. And that's what it comes down to, you know. Consistency is huge, but having, you know, something fun that people can really enjoy is a big part of that. So you got to be consistent and you got to do that. So that, you know, but be sure to do all kinds of videos. Like I said, the testimonial videos are huge. Get people to do testimonials, review videos that we do. I mean, they're awesome. I can set up an entire year's worth of review videos in like 20 minutes, and they're going to go for the next year. So it's amazing stuff. And you don't want that to be all of your content. That's just one piece. You want to have a big mix of all these things, you know, because your channel, it's a channel. And just like, you know, if you watch TNT, they're going to have Law and Order at 7, but they're going to have something else at 8. They're going to have wrestling on at 9, and they're going to have something else on at 10. So you got to do these same things in your channel. You can break it up into different sections. And, you know, this could be like your inflatable slide videos. This can be your party rental videos. This can be your concession videos. This can be your customer review video sections.
Maybe you put each product underneath categories and drop the playlist underneath your webpage.
That's exactly what you do. Yep. Exactly what you do. And the party rental business is perfect for that because you really do have those categories. An escape room is a little tougher. We don't really have, you know, I mean, what categories do we have, you know? I mean, I can break it up by room or
pretty much.
Customer testimonials would be one.
Product almost. So
yeah.
If there's
but break it up and do that. And playlists, you know, you mentioned playlists. Playlists can be just as powerful as videos. And guess what? You could take one video and make 100 playlists out of that thing. And you know, you only made a couple of videos, but you got 100 playlists. All those playlists can show up on page 1. All those playlists can show up at the top of Google. All those playlists can be found in search. And another thing, the thumbnails. We talked about that earlier. We were messing around with thumbnails. You got to have good thumbnails. The actual people at YouTube who talked about this, when they recommend videos, and by recommend, I mean like page 1, when you see the videos that are on there on page 1, there are actual people who pick those things out. When you see, you know, obviously party rentals, there's not somebody dedicated to party rentals picking the things, but they choose the videos that get recommended based off of title and thumbnail. If they like the thumbnail and it's got a good title, you're going to get recommended more than if it doesn't. And that's directly from the people that pick those things that said that. Those are the 2 most important things for being recommended on Google.
And get them done now because they're not looking all the time. Like you're not looking at your thing. Oh, well, let's see what it looks like this week for bounce houses in Buffalo.
Right. Yeah. There's not some guy doing that, but that's going to be automated. But you know, the thumbnail, the title, the 2 most important things when it comes to that getting recommended with all the other videos. So be sure to do that and brand the heck out of yourself. Your thumbnails, they don't necessarily have to be exactly the same for every video, but they should look like they belong together. You know, so for instance, the ones that we do for the escape room, they use our colors. We've got this gray pattern that's a maze that's in the background. And so on the side, so the video frame, it's orange around it. And on one side of it, it's got that gray thing with the logo on it. And then it's got a picture on the other side with the text on it. And so no matter what that video is about, it's going to have that gray thing with the logo and the orange around it. So everybody knows, oh, that's one of their videos immediately. Every single time, oh, that's one of their videos. And when you search YouTube for our stuff in our area or whatever, you'll see it's just our thumbnails all the way down, you know, the first 100 videos or whatever, you know. Nobody else is there really. And it's all that same exact thing. So doing thumbnails can be a big part of that to make sure that you're branded and to make sure that, you know, they're willing to recommend you more because you've got that branding in there with the thumbnails. So,
yeah, I like it too. You know, it's funny. Like Ray's the video guy. We got the tent guy. I'm pretty much the bounce house guy.
Larry the cable guy.
There's just a bunch. There's just a bunch of guys in here. We got to get the girl. I'm trying to get Jaina to start her own channel and start doing videos. She's not down.
Lady Party Tent.
Yes, Lady Party Rental Knowledge. Lady Event Talk. She's gonna kill me if she sees this.
The Queen of Tents.
No, she's the bounce house queen. She like buys a new bounce house like every day.
Bounce House Queen.
She buys one bounce house every day. She's gonna be so mad. I can't. I'm trying to get a bounce house off her. I can't be talking crap out here. I love you, Jana. No, seriously, everybody. Ray is the video guy. I'm really happy to like have him in here. Pretty much. Like we said, there's a lot to this. You guys, you can learn it all. YouTube's a wealth of knowledge. His channel's a wealth of knowledge. You can learn a lot of stuff on his channel itself.
I'm often like the cobbler whose kids have no shoes, though. You know, I say all these things and I do it for everybody else, and then half the time my stuff gets ignored. But the stuff that's the funny thing. If you go there, the stuff that you see will probably be, you know, proper thumbnailed and all done up properly. But then there's like 100 other videos that are in there that are hidden in there because I haven't done all these things to it yet, you know. So, but you got to do these things. But right now, our focus is so much more on the escape room stuff and now party rental stuff and things like that, that my channel gets neglected a little bit because it's not, you know.
He's got like 16,000 subscribers, dude. Don't even mess around.
Yeah, well, I do, but their poor guys are ignored half the time, and I feel bad about it. But
no, listen. There's a lot of content there, but listen, the real party rental stuff's here. What, you're doing this every Thursday, or we're gonna do it like, or we're gonna go? Yeah. We're gonna do the next. I think we're gonna do we're gonna do the next few Thursdays, and then Ray's probably gonna do like once every other week type thing, or pop in and drop some knowledge and do knowledge videos just to kind of like help everybody out with this aspect with marketing and stuff like that in the group. So, you know, like Party Rental Knowledge is basically the YouTube group, I guess. We've been told that too, like all the YouTubers are here or whatever. And I'm cool with saying that anyway. Like, you know what I mean? I'm cool with that too, whatever.
Yeah, and I'm in the group, so if you tag me in there or whatever, I'll see it. Believe me, I see all these things that pop up in there.
See it all. No, for real. That, and like we definitely want to provide some value to everybody as much as we can. So stay tuned, because we're going to have more to show you next week.
All right, sweet.
Like and subscribe, everybody.
And if you need me, just tag me.
Yep.
I'm easy to find.
Same here. Tag me if you need me in their group, so you already know.
Even personal message me. People send me DMs all the time on Facebook, so don't be afraid to do that either.
Or post something stupid in the group, and I'll be right on your butt too. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, there you go.
Bye, everybody. Be safe out there.